In the heart of the vast, sun-scorched savanna, where the air shimmers with heat and the earth thirsts for rain, lies a secret world, a shimmering, liquid jewel hidden in plain sight. This is a place where land and water embrace in a timeless dance, creating the Savanna Wetlands. Often overlooked in the grand narrative of the plains, these sprawling marshes and waterways are not merely a feature of the landscape. They are its very lifeblood, the pulsing heart of this entire ecosystem. Fed by great rivers that carve ancient paths across the continent, the water slows and spreads, spilling over its banks to nourish the land. Here, the familiar golden grasses of the savanna surrender to dense thickets of papyrus reeds that whisper in the breeze. The dry, dusty earth transforms into a mosaic of shimmering pools, muddy banks, and floating islands of vegetation. It becomes a sanctuary of almost impossible abundance, a refuge for countless species seeking solace from the harshness of the surrounding plains. This is a world governed not by the clock, but by the sun and the moon, and the slow, inexorable rhythm of the water. The character of this sanctuary is forged in a cycle of dramatic extremes. For months, the sun reigns supreme. The waters recede, the wetlands shrink, and the mudflats crack and bake under the relentless heat. Life becomes concentrated, forced into ever closer proximity around the dwindling pools. It is a time of immense pressure, of intense competition, where every drop of water is precious. But then, the skies darken. The rains return, and the rivers swell once more, sending life-giving floods surging across the parched land. This annual inundation is not a disaster, but a rebirth. It replenishes the soil, triggers an explosion of growth, and expands the boundaries of this liquid world, offering new territories and fresh opportunities for all. And within this dynamic theatre of flood and drought, a grand drama unfolds. It is a story of survival against the odds, and of an intricate, often brutal harmony. It is a story of predators and their prey, locked in an age-old arms race. The silent, patient crocodile waiting beneath the surface, the piercing cry of the fish eagle as it plummets from the sky. But it is also a story of unexpected alliances and complex social structures, from the boisterous pods of hippos that engineer the waterways, to the vast flocks of migratory birds that connect these wetlands to distant continents. This is a world built on a delicate, ever-shifting balance. A balance between life and death, feast and famine, creation and destruction. A balance that has sustained this remarkable ecosystem for millennia, but one that now faces an uncertain future. This is the story of survival and harmony, of predators and prey, of drought and flood, of the delicate balance that sustains life in the wild savanna wetlands. The savanna lives by a rhythm, a heartbeat set by the rains. When water returns, the wetlands awaken. Dormant seeds burst into life, insects hatch by the billions, and the air thickens with the calls of birds. This fragile ecosystem is more than a sanctuary. It is a wellspring. Without wetlands, the savanna would wither, and life itself would falter. In the vast, sun-scorched plains, the wetlands emerge as a shimmering, life-giving jewel. They are more than an oasis. They are the heart of this ecosystem, a sanctuary pulsating with the power of Africa's giants. For these colossal inhabitants, the seasonal ebb and flow of water dictates their existence, drawing them from miles around in a timeless pilgrimage. For the giants of the plains, wetlands are an oasis. Nowhere is this bond with water more absolute than with the hippopotamus. Hippos spend their days submerged, their lives bound to water. This is a physiological necessity. Their sensitive skin is protected from the relentless sun. Within these crowded aquatic territories, a complex social hierarchy unfolds. A dominant bull presides over his harem, guarding his real estate with intimidating displays and deep calls that echo across the marsh. As dusk settles, they emerge to graze, carving hippo highways through the vegetation. Their dung fertilizes these waters, creating a thriving foundation for the entire aquatic food web, from the smallest insect to the largest fish. The wetlands also beckon the elephant herds, led by the wisdom of their matriarch. Elephants march great distances to drink from these pools, their massive trunks pulling life from the earth. These are epic journeys, etched into the family's collective memory. Reaching the water is a moment of profound relief and social celebration. It's a time to quench thirst and reinforce bonds. Calves splash and play, learning essential skills under watchful eyes. With their versatile trunks, they drink, spray cooling mud, and communicate with subtle rumbles. In their quest for water, they often act as benevolent engineers, digging into dry riverbeds to create wells that will be used by countless other species long after the herd has moved on. Then come the Cape buffalo, a force of nature. Buffalo gather in thousands, shaping the landscape with their movements, their hooves stirring the soil that nourishes future growth. Their collective movement is an elemental power that reshapes the terrain. As they graze, their hooves churn and aerate the soil, paving the way for new growth. This constant disturbance is a vital process that maintains the health and diversity of the grasslands. The herd is a fortress on the move, a wall of muscle and horn, their unity a formidable defense against the predators drawn to this concentration of life. Yet these wetlands are not only a place of refuge, but also a battleground, where size, strength, and persistence decide who thrives. The life-giving resources are finite, and here, power is the currency of survival. Fights erupt with startling ferocity. Bull hippos clash in bloody battles for control of the best pools, their jaws capable of inflicting mortal wounds. Young buffalo bulls test their strength, locking horns in combat that establishes their place in the hierarchy. Even elephants can be drawn into conflict. This is the paradox of the wetlands, a place of profound peace and brutal conflict, a stage where the daily drama of survival plays out on a truly gigantic scale. Where there is prey, predators will follow. The Nile crocodile, the silent ruler of the wetlands, waits patiently beneath the surface. Lions, too, adapt their hunting to the marshland, ambushing herds as they approach to drink. And in the shadows of papyrus reeds, leopards prowl with unmatched stealth. Here, survival depends on timing. A single mistake at the water's edge can mean death. Above the wetlands, the skies come alive. Millions of wings fill the horizon. Migrating storks, ibises, and flamingos arrive to feed and breed. Fish eagles scan the water below, their piercing calls echoing across the marsh. For countless birds, wetlands are not just a stopover, but a cradle of life, where generations begin anew. Beneath the shimmering surface lies another world, teeming with creatures often unseen. Fish dart between reeds, amphibians emerge with the rains, and dragonfly larvae patrol the shallows like miniature predators. Each plays its role in this great web of life, feeding the birds above, the reptiles below, and the mammals that depend on them all. Yet, this paradise is fragile. The lifeblood of the wetlands is the seasonal flood, but this ancient rhythm is becoming dangerously unpredictable. Far upstream, the demands of a growing human population divert water for agriculture and cities, meaning less and less reaches these vital floodplains. The natural cycle of wet and dry is becoming more extreme. The droughts are longer, the dry seasons more brutal. As the water recedes, the land cracks and hardens under the relentless sun. For the animals that remain, it is a time of immense stress and brutal competition. The once placid hippopods, guardians of the deep pools, are now trapped in a desperate struggle. As their watery kingdom evaporates into a muddy prison, social structures collapse. The dominant bulls, their authority challenged by the cramped conditions, engage in vicious, bloody battles. It's a fight not for territory, but for sheer survival. for a space in the last vestiges of life-giving water. Other residents must also adapt or perish. The crocodiles, ancient reptiles that have witnessed millennia of such cycles, retreat into a primal state. They burrow deep into the caking mud, entombing themselves in a cool, dark chamber. Here, in a state of suspended animation known as estivation, their heartbeats slow to a mere whisper. They are gambling on the return of the rains, a living testament to patience, but even their incredible resilience has its limits. For the myriad bird species, the wetlands' silence is a death knell. The fish are gone, the invertebrates have vanished. Great flocks of storks and pelicans are forced to take flight, embarking on perilous journeys in search of other feeding grounds. For months, the land holds its breath under a haze of dust and heat. Then, a change. A shift in the wind carries the scent of distant moisture. The sky darkens on the horizon. The first drops of rain strike the baked earth like pellets, releasing a rich, earthy perfume, the scent of life returning. It is a signal of deliverance. Within hours, the parched cracks in the ground begin to heal. The muddy prisons of the hippos transform back into expansive pools. The crocodiles, sensing the vibrations and the life-giving moisture, stir from their subterranean slumber, emerging like specters from the mud. Life surges back with astonishing speed. Dormant seeds sprout, painting the landscape in vibrant green. Herds return, their long exile over. From desolation to abundance, the wetlands are reborn. But this ancient, life-affirming cycle is now more precarious than ever. Each drought is a roll of the dice, and with mounting human pressures, the question is no longer the rains will return, but if the wetlands will have the resilience to survive until they do. The wetlands of the wild savanna are more than a refuge. They are a heartbeat, a promise of life renewed. Here, predator and prey, water and land, death and life are bound together in an eternal balance. As long as the rivers flow and the rains return, the wetlands will endure, sustaining the wild heart of the savanna. As the sun sets over the shimmering wetlands, painting the sky in gold and crimson, remember, the story of the savanna belongs to us all. By learning, sharing, and caring, we become guardians of this wild, wondrous world. If you've been inspired by the eternal balance of the wetlands, help us spread their story. Like this video, subscribe for more journeys into the heart of nature, and share it with friends who believe in the magic of the wild. Together, we can keep the heartbeat of the savanna alive. One story, one action, one voice at a time.